We are here in the middle of San Antonio. It's like around more than 10 miles away from the city or like a main highway. And this is somewhere in the remote area. It's the middle of nowhere, and the cave's name is a cave without a name, right? And you see the small cave just near to that building. Yeah. So we are having a tour for a cave. 1 hour tour.
Your tour guide, how many of you have not ever been in a cave before? Several. Okay, so it's real important that you don't touch anything down here. If you touch these formations or even the walls, the oil from your skin gets on them and it stops them from growing. So don't touch anything. Stay behind me. I know where all the good stuff is. If you stay behind me, you'll get to see it. I also know where all the dangerous spots like slippery floors and low ceilings and that sort of stuff is. So stay behind me. Ask lots of questions, take lots of pictures, and we will start the actual tour about halfway down the stairs.
Perfect. Let's go. Wait for your line. Joey?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hold on. You can go by yourself. Papa को hand hold
जाओ जाओ.
We Papa को hand hold कर दीजिए.
You just enter the cave, and it will be little bit, yeah.
It's not dark.
Yeah, there's a light over here, you know. Once you go inside,
You don't like the dark?
once we go inside, then it will be dark, you know,
Follow me.
and it will be cold also, probably.
Oh, chilly.
Chilly, yeah.
Wait.
Sun is not everywhere, then why is it dark in here?
Look.
Mama, then why
So watch your steps, okay?
Walk. Or you
Oh, there is light.
You see, it's a tunnel.
Water.
Yeah, it's the water over here. Just hold my hand.
No one wants water.
It's not too much water. That's fine. We can dry it up once we get out. Look. Wow. Oh, hold on.
It still works.
Can you hold my hand? Look, we're going down, you see? The temperature is decreasing, little bit cold. Look at the
Of
caves.
course, I don't want to take a picture.
네, 아트네서 소리, 아트네서 소리. 또 포른 전에.
When it ripped the roof off the cave entrance,
Look,
and this big gust of wind.
Daddy, come on, let's
hold on,
go.
hold on.
All real hard.
I hope no bats will be today.
Let's listen to.
one by time, okay?
Ting, as the roof came off. You know.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. I still get an adrenaline rush talking about it.
Yeah.
And then there was a tour in the cave, and I went down there and collected them up, and I went and got a flashlight out of the gift shop, which was smashed, and,
Oh no.
and the power was out.
Yeah.
So I had to go and collect the people out of the cave.
Pipe man.
Their first question was,
Turn us
"Are
over,
the
pipe.
cars
Yeah, pipe man,
okay?"
sorry.
And I said,
In my
"I didn't look at the
shoes."
cars, let's go look, you know.
Wait.
Well, I have a question. Is there like a bailout point halfway or something? If there was like some kind of big problem?
Oh, well, we can turn around.
Well, I mean, not turn around and come back this way, but if something were to happen. is
Oh,
there
no,
like a
no,
bailout?
there's no bailout.
There are other people coming.
Everybody move to your right.
To your right, look.
Don't touch it.
I'll tell them. People are coming.
Oh. How did they came?
They went earlier. They
We
already.
already were here.
Yeah, you see.
And there's actually some cool stuff.
Really?
Just some.
Some.
And bacon. There's bacon.
Bacon's out there. He could be your tour guide. He asked her the most questions.
You see? You can ask as many questions as you want. So you'll know all the information, okay?
This was discovered in the 1920s when ranchers out here noticed steam coming up around a big rock that used to sit on top of that hole. They got curious about that and moved the rock Once they moved the rock, a goat fell in here, so the first people that we know of that went down in here went down to remove the body of that poor goat. Soon after that, some moonshiners found this place. They decided this was a perfect place to make whiskey during Prohibition, so they were making whiskey right down here for the last few years of Prohibition, and it wasn't until after Prohibition was over that some kids snuck in here. They were the first ones to go beyond what was
Well, a goat fell?
Slowly, okay? Zoe? Step by step. One step at a time. Look at the caves.
Jody, you should touch it, okay?
I thought there was no cakes.
All right, so over here is where they were making their whiskey. That's why the ceiling's all black in here. They were probably using wood to cook it with. And again, these guys weren't too interested in exploring. They were more interested in drinking, so it wasn't until after Prohibition was over that those kids snuck in here. They were the first ones to go beyond where the still was, right about there, and down into this pit. And if you can imagine what this pit looked like without the stairs in it, and right down here you can see what those kids were exploring on down.
Wait. No,
I'm talking about the
kids are the ones who found it, so they are not in trouble.
They all are. He said
But
they all go.
ल रेबा कस्तो राम्रो फर्मेसन भन्छ र
माथि हेर्दा
डिफ्रेन्ट डिफ्रेन्ट हेर त्यो सबै हेर तल पानी झरेर चुचुचो भजेर
मेरो चप्पल चाहिँ
डोन्ट टच इट एबा
All right, so when you get down to the bottom of this little flight of stairs right in front of me, watch your head if you're over 5'2". Then we're going to make a U-turn and you're going to get to kind of a narrow spot after you go down some really steep steps. Right before you go through that narrow spot, take a look to the right and you'll see a really low spot. That's where those kids had to dig out some dirt and rocks and crawl through there and out into that big room. But we're not going to go that way. We're going to go straight ahead.
don't push them.
Oh, that's away from Matt.
Leave rather than
No. That's right.
On the bottom, anyone else?
Look at the caves.
All right, so this is where those kids would have gotten to when they got down here. And when they got down here, this hole in front of me didn't exist. This was blasted in later when we developed the cave. But this little hole over here did exist. So they had to dig out some rocks.
Look at the caves, look. What is that? You see?
Be careful on the floor. It's
Oh.
a little bit slippery.
It's a little bit slippery out there. Oh, don't push please. Zoe.
No pushing. के भनेको थियो त्यहाँ अघि? You have to be slowly. You have to go slowly. Yeah, that's out there. Look at that. You have to arch yourself.
Oh, I go over that wall.
What happened? Zoe? No, it's okay. Papa is here. Don't worry. You're scared?
Keep pushing this side. Wow.
Wow, we came to the big place now. You see? Wow. Look.
All right, so over here is where those kids came out through that little hallway, and everybody else before they blasted this open. And this is what they found. Of course, when they got in here, there were no lights and there was no nice gravel floor. It was completely dark and the floor was all mud. They had one working flashlight between the three of them and a kerosene lantern. They went both directions and they found everything we're going to see on this tour. So how this cave formed is part of the Guadalupe River. It's loose underground in this area and has carved out these big stream passages. The water used to flow from that direction out that way. Eventually, all the passages back that direction silted up or filled up with mud, and for a while the cave filled up with water. and was an underground lake. After a while, the water found its way out through other little cracks in the limestone, dissolved out a new stream passage, and left these big rooms high and dry. According to geologists, that event happened at least 150,000 years ago, and that's when the big formations started forming on the floor. So how these things form is the rock's all limestone. Limestone's pretty much made out of shells, and that material is mostly a mineral called calcite or calcium carbonate. When rain falls through the sky, it picks up a little bit of carbon dioxide, the same stuff that makes soda fizz. When it gets to the surface, it mixes with the plants and leaves on the surface, and the carbon dioxide in the soil forms a weak carbonic acid. That acid water works its way down through the rock, dissolves some of that calcite, then when it gets to it in a crystalline form, and makes these nice formations. So if the water's dripping really slowly, you get a big stalactite and a small stalagmite. If the water's dripping faster, you get tiny stalactites and a huge stalagmite. This one's called the totem pole. And once the stalactite and the stalagmite meet, you get what's called a column or a pillar. The same way they got in. All right, let's go this way. So the layer of rock that the cave formed in is called the Glen Rose Formation. And the Glen Rose was laid down back in the Cretaceous, back in the dinosaur days. Back then, this part of Texas was a shallow tropical sea. And you can see some of the fossils in here. So all those millions of years of seafloor piled up and piled up eventually cemented itself together into the rock. Since that time, this whole region that we now call the hill country has been uplifted, and now we're about 1,200 feet above sea level. So that's the layer of rock that the cave formed. Does that make sense?
Probably underwater. Probably.
Well, in the Cretaceous, this was ocean.
Old man.
Yeah, Jurassic was when it was Pangea. Yeah, it's probably underwater.
All right, so here's a nice long soda straw. Soda straws are hollow in the middle, and water drips down the center. And how these things form is you get a drop of water on the ceiling. As that drop sits there, a little ring of calcite crystals forms around the outside of the drop. Next drop comes along, leaves another little ring millions of drops later. You get a nice long hollow tube, just about as big around as a drop of water. And eventually these will clog up, and as they clog up, water starts oozing out the sides and forming these really strange things called helictites. And helictites can grow any direction you can imagine. They'll go up, down, sideways, make loops and spirals. You see them all in here. And another interesting thing that happens is water will run down the wall and it'll leave a trail. Eventually that trail will turn into a nice curtain or drapery formation. And this cave has more of these draperies than I've seen anywhere. They're just all over here. And then this area over here is a restoration project. When they first developed this cave in the 30s, they just poured gravel on top of everything. So over the last several years, volunteers have been working on cleaning this stuff out, and it looks much better without all the gravel. Any questions?
That looks like SpongeBob's house.
So how long does it take to
There is
form?
no constant growth rate.
No.
That's an impossible question to answer. There's too many variables.
Yeah.
This one's really pretty. This is a nice one to get a picture of.
So Eva is, wow, nice.
Take the photo. I'm
Good job.
photo of that.
तिमीले त्यो फोटो आएको छैन त कसरी
अच्छा ठिक छ ल ल ल जाउँ गुड जब
चिप्लो छ एबा चिप्लो
होल्ड माई ह्यान्ड
चिप्लो छ पनि
पानी छ होल्ड माई ह्यान्ड
Now there's Bunny.
Look, we are going more deeper and deeper, right?
Where's Bunny?
Oh, cool.
Look, the water dripping all around. Wow.
यो पानी हो कि पानी
All the crystals,
Out there
calcite.
for our anniversary this year, and we in the past we just had friends out there, so we were just there to visit them. We didn't go to the park. This time we stayed at the Airbnb, and we did the park for a whole week. We did the park, even went across the river.
Joey, don't touch it, please.
Wow.
What's that?
I'm going to tell you all about it as soon as everybody catches
Okay,
up.
we have to wait.
Oh.
All right, so an interesting thing about this room is we know the ancient river flowed through here, out that direction somewhere. All these passages silted up. People love to come in here and speculate about how much more passage there is, and if there are more big rooms completely sealed off beyond here. Back in the 70s, some guys decided to stop talking and start digging. That's what happened over here. All they discovered by digging that direction is that the rock floor is about 14 feet below the mud floor. They didn't find anything. They just worked really hard, dug a big hole, piled up a huge pile of mud over there, and they didn't find anything. And we've been moving that mud ever since. And we call this room the food court. That's because a lot of stuff looks like food in here, especially if you haven't had lunch. And you can see some popcorn. And fried eggs growing right on top of the gravel. So
This one.
that's relatively fast growth.
Can I touch
And
No,
a
no.
giant carrot,
No touching.
a giant carrot, and a 40
Giant
ice
carrot.
cream cone,
Oh, ice cream cone, look.
and some bacon. See the bacon right there?
Oh, that's what he was talking about, bacon.
And then back here is
Where's
a
the
really good
bacon?
place. Back here's a really good place.
Attach to the bacon.
You gotta stand over there.
Yeah, go
Stand
on.
over there.
And
Stand farther back.
Oh,
Here, look, here. Stand right there where my light's pointing.
जाऊ त्यहाँबाट हेर।
Stand there.
यहाँ जाऊ,
Stand
अँ।
right there.
I can see there.
look this
There's the
one.
bacon.
Look this one.
You're looking someplace else. You're looking someplace else.
Do you see?
Whatever, wherever you're looking,
Because
you're
you
not
don't eat
looking.
bacon, so you don't know bacon.
That's fine.
I do know
I
bacon.
got questions while you're taking pictures. Here's another big bacon right there. See that bacon? Bacon? Zoom in on. I don't know if there is any such thing.
Bacon is made from pork.
Yeah, bacon's made from pig bellies.
What was that?
Okay, त्यहाँ त्यति फाल्न पाइन्छ
Huh?
Anybody else want a picture of the grapes?
See, that's
All
called
right, let's go this
the
way.
white grapes.
This way.
They look like a white grapes.
Not this way. Not this way.
Too much bacon.
Huge bacon.
Make me hungry.
You're not hungry.
Because I didn't eat, so I'm. Oh, look at this one. This one has the bacon too.
Look at that big one bacon.
Yeah. Joyce, रमाइलो भइरहेछ? रमाइलो
Where are we going?
भइरहेछ?
Another cave.
All right, everybody done in this room?
Yes.
Anybody not done in this room? Okay, let's go this way.
Oh, one of the.
This one's really pretty.
Look at this.
You turn off the lights there.
Mm-hmm.
Who turned on the lights?
Wow, they have the stage over here.
All right, so if you want an idea of what the floor was like before the gravel, this will give you a good idea. This stuff will suck your shoes right off. And if you look up here in the ceiling, you can see some of these upper level passages. We've never put anybody up in these because it would just cause too much damage trying to get up there, so we just leave these alone. But this cave has a lot of upper level passages. This cave has a lot of upper level passages back in the wilderness part of the cave, so it's not out of the question that one of these days cave explorers could find their way into these and look down from up there, but it hasn't happened yet. And some beautiful draperies. Here's a big drapery waterfall.
Oh man.
Another really nice one over here that turns into a spiral shaped stalactite. And if you can't see that one, this one over here makes a nice spiral too. And then these things are called bell canopies. There's 3 of them in this room. There's this one here. There's one back behind you that looks like a T-Rex getting ready to bite something. And then there's one way over here called the Queen's Throne, and we'll talk about that one more when we get over there. Any questions? Go ahead.
There's chairs over there.
Right. Do you have any questions about them? I didn't hear what you said.
What are they gonna do?
We're having a concert tomorrow night. That's why they're there.
That's so cool, right?
All right, let's go this way. Be very careful going around this corner.
Oh, that's pretty big, right?
What's that there?
Mhm.
What is that? What is that? What is that, Baba?
That's a stone. You see?
But can you pick it?
Huh?
Yes.
It's so cool, right? No, don't
Be careful, please.
Don't touch it, please.
All right, so you photographers, if you want a really nice picture from this side, if you take a picture of that bacon without your flash, that is
I
a really
want to
beautiful
take a
picture.
picture.
And this big white thing here, we just call this one modern art. That's because everybody's got a different opinion about what it looks like. But right in front of it is a really nice nativity scene. There's Mary with baby Jesus and Joseph holding the lamb and the three wise men. And then across from the nativity scene is Bethlehem. And then over here is a giant Christmas tree, so it's always Christmas in this part of the cave. And some more of those stalactites growing out sideways. Some more up here. All kinds of wild stuff. Any questions? Don't kick stuff, please.
No,
Don't
please,
kick
please,
things.
Joey,
Don't
no.
kick things.
Sorry,
it's not
no.
okay.
So sorry.
All right, let's go this way.
Look, here is a stage. You can do the concert. Interesting. Look, they do the concert over here.
Excuse me, Baba. I have a question.
Go ahead.
You know, in my school now it's done, but
That's a story. That's a story. Stage, and we have 200 chairs, and so 200 people sitting down here pretty much fills up this space, and it sounds amazing. So come see a show sometime. There's one tomorrow night. It's going to be a woodwind quintet doing patriotic music for me. If you want, so there's a lot of evidence in this area that something big happened a long time ago. This big wedge-shaped column over here cracked in two places. It cracked up here and right here, and it didn't fall over. It just stayed in place and rehealed itself.
what is that?
You can see it's offset by about an inch and a half at the top. And this big chunk over here broke off from the wall behind it, slid down onto the floor. These formations probably broke off about the same time. And this happened so long ago that it's all welded back together with calcite. And these formations are now part of the flowstones. Whatever caused this happened a long time ago, so I think we're safe. And this big wall thing here, this goes all the way across the room, comes out over here. This is what you call a brimstone dam. And brimstone dams form when water sits in pools for a long time. Calcite crystals form on the surface of the water, and then as these overflow, the crystals stick along the edges and slowly build up these beautiful dams.
Don't look at the turtle.
Turtle. Turtle भित्र पानी भित्र.
Everybody done in this room?
Yes,
Anybody not done in this room?
all done. Let's go to the other room. Look, pani. Now it's dark. You see? Completely dark. Let's go to the other room. Ray. So many rooms. You see? Look, कति धेरै बेकनै बेकन छ. Look. Wow, so many water over here.
Look at the turtle.
Turtle भित्र सुतिरहेछ नि त. It's dark छ नि त. He's sleeping right now.
Where?
Might be inside the water.
That's clean water, Baba.
Yeah, it's a clean water. You see, it's
Over here is this underground spring that formed all the pools on both sides of the hill. And again, when it rains really hard, water flows out of that spring, fills up this big pool, spills over both directions, and fills up all the
Wait.
And it looks really nice when there's water in here. This top area up here used to be filled with gravel and packed down solid, just like what you're standing on over the last 7 years.
No, you're not going there. Okay.
Step out.
I'm staying.
Don't.
I'm staying.
गाडीबाट सही गर्नु
त्यहाँ रौ.
चिप्लो छ हेरेर कस्तो चिप्लो छ.
कस्तो दामी हो है. कति भित्रसम्म रहेछ क्या लेक यो त. टनल त कति लामो रहेछ. Look, still it's going inside.
पिस देखेको
So many. Where is the fish? Did you see fish? Really? What happened? Joey, don't touch it. No, no, skits up. Get up. Joey, don't do that, please. Kaulasa, it's a danger. Jolie. Look, Kisa, look. Wow, look. So spectacular view.
It's got stalactites plenty with stalagmites running next to it. And this happened so long ago that the Leaning Tower of Ernie here was grown on top. So again, I think we're safe. And you want to take a picture of this one? Careful on the slippery stuff.
Slippery,
And
great,
any
sure.
questions while you're taking pictures?
Wow, yeah,
All right, so if you look straight up from here, you can see the Leaning Tower hanging over you, and another really nice
Tower.
formation.
Tower.
Some nice draperies hanging off of it. Then if you look all the way up here, you can see one of the highest ceilings in the cave. That's 65 or 70 feet.
Tower's
And
probably
not
gonna
too long
fall.
ago, a friend of ours ran
And
down
it's
penetrating
falling.
radar over
Baba,
the top
and
of
it's
this and
falling.
found out that at the very top, it's only about 6 feet from the surface. So that's kind of exciting.
Baba,
And
and
over
it's
here on the left
falling.
is the Texas
Oh, it's
sized
falling,
canned
look.
bacon. And over here on the right
Which
is another really nice
Texas size. Everything is big in Texas, right? So it's Texas size. Bacon.
Is that a big bacon? It's like a bacon, not bunny.
Pani also need the sari pani. You can see what's inside the caves.
Big curry by big curry.
Uh-huh.
Big curry by big curry.
Okay.
Big curry के big curry.
बिग पानी क्या भित्र सरे नि त लुक कत्रो केभ बनाएछ है हेर आम्मामा कति ठुलो है जति गए पनि नसकिने केभ है यो त हो कि न है कति ठुलो केभ है यु वान्ट टु स्लिप ल यु क्यान स्लिप
All right, so this is where I get to show you all how dark it is down here. So grab hold of anybody that's going to get scared, because I'm going to turn the lights off, and it's going to be very dark. If you feel like you need to sit down, there are benches all the way around you. It's a really good idea to sit down. Turn off anything you have that makes light. All phones, all cameras, all the way off.
Okay.
So this is one of my favorite things in the cave, this big bunch of draperies. It folds together. And if you look at the whole thing together, it's a giant sheepdog. See, there's his head, and there's his tail, and it's got legs and ears and a big tongue hanging out.
Let's go. स्लिपरी हुन्छ पक्का स्लिपरी हुन्छ पक्का स्लिपरी हुन्छ पक्का स्लिपरी छ नि त लड्छ उयो उयो जोइ 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 जोली 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 प्यारो प्यारो कत्रो ठुलो प्यारो के आएको
Dark.
It's not dark, right? Look at the pole.
Nipple.
Might be electric pole.
Nipple.
Might be electric pole.
Nipple.
Look, we're still going deep inside.
So here's our well pipe. They drilled this well for two reasons. One of them was to tap the creek for water, and the other reason was to widen out that hole and pour all this gravel in here. So this is how the gravel got down here, is poured through that hole with the dump truck. And if you put your face right against this pipe and look straight up, you can see the surface about 100 feet above.
Oh yeah. You can see. Did you see that? Oh,
Light outside the.
I can't see. Can't see.
It's your bed.
I read
you
it
see
go.
outside.
Might be sky.
Small hole. There
I can get a crink in my neck, that's for sure.
Just the link for this one.
Look.
All right, so this is where the commercial part of the cave ends.
Yes,
Part of the cave
I'm
begins.
scared to go.
Beyond here, there's no more light, and you gotta get in that creek to go either direction. You see about 1/8 of
Tienes uno también, ¿no?
And you'd have to go underwater between the two caves, so it's all sealed off that direction. And upstream, this direction, the cave's been explored and mapped for well over 2 miles beyond here.
아버지 이거 봐봐.
This cave in Texas,
아버지 이거 참 그냥 너무 좋죠.
이제 안 되나? 얘 팀들어.
유튜브.
얘만 그 떨도 안 되나?
and to give you an idea of how high the water gets in here, here's the high water mark.
오, 하이 워터 마크. त्यो हाई वाटर मार्क 2004 फ्लोरमा
In 07 it rained a lot too, and here's some
यतिसम्म वाटर आउँदो रहेछ कोही
days was the day we got hit by the tornado. That's when that was going every 10 inches that day.
How long does it take for it to?
That's the hardest question people ask me. That would take constant monitoring to answer. That's a pipe.
Mama, I wanna go buy those.
Any other questions?
Done.
Is it bacon? Look, 이 비주얼이 보고 왜 bacon 주냐? 어제 난 가요? 어? It's yummy, 가요?
오케이, 밥을 하자.
More bacon. There's more bacon. Bacon.
이거
Ooh, one more bacon. Stuck. So many bacon and bacon. Bacon and bacon. Bacon and bacon.
제지 시기를 손가락